Just to say, this session will be getting recorded, all right? So if you don't want to be on the recording or on the SATPE website, just don't share your camera, just for general data protection and stuff, okay? Before we start, thanks to Claire. Obviously, I worked with Claire at Queen Anne, and obviously she went away and spread the message, so thanks to Claire for getting the message around. Today's session, what I'm going to do is we'll do it over two, because with the SATPE account at the current moment we'll only have 40 minutes. So we'll try and get as much as we can in the first 40 minutes, do a second lot in the next set of 40 minutes, and we'll have some time at the end for some questions. If anybody misses it or you want to watch it, later on it will be on the SATPE website. I'm hopeful it'll be on there for tomorrow. It usually takes 24 hours before we get added to the site, okay? So, without further ado, let's get started. You guys all able to see my screen, yeah? Yep, perfect. So, for those that don't know me, I'm Aaron Anderson. I work at Madras College, involved with SATPE, one of the vice presidents, lead up the National Qualifications Working Group, do work on the SATPE Student Notes website, also do stuff with BBC Bitesize, so there's loads of stuff there. All I'm going to do today with you is share with you a lot of the answer strategies that pupils can use when working their way through a National 5 portfolio. I've used this PowerPoint with teachers, with other departments as part of a moderation policy. So this PowerPoint should never be shared with the kids. You can take the strategies from it, but it's more for your education rather than for the direct working with the kids, all right? But obviously you will take it back at some point to work with them. So again, I will share this PowerPoint with you as well. I could email it to Claire and Claire could just share it all with you, okay? So for last thing, I'm never off Twitter. So if you're on teacher Twitter, it's at Ando1410. So any questions about this, you can put them in the chat here, or you can direct message me on Twitter, or you could send me an email, which I'll share with you at the end as well. All right. So let's get started on the National 5 answer strategies. So the reason why I'm doing this one with you is because this is most likely what you're going to do on your 4th year placement. Okay, you're unlikely to be doing higher directly. You might be team teaching it, you might be observing it, but you're usually put in for National 5 class, and when you go on your probation, you'll most likely have a National 5 class as well. So just knowing this is going to help you teach the theoretical aspects when it comes to the classroom. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a structure or a strategy that you can follow when teaching. The kids could follow when writing, and you could do it as part of an ongoing moderation as you work your way throughout the year with your department when you're there. I'll give you an example of what a 1-mark response is to each question. Then after that, I'll show you what an incorrect response is, and we'll go briefly into why it is not getting the mark and what they maybe need to change to get the mark. All right. If at any point I'm going too fast, just tell me to stop or put something in the chat, and I'm happy to take any questions. Right. Starting off with the command words. The command words, in my opinion, are the biggest reason why our national averages at National 5 theory for the portfolio and the higher exam are so poor. It's just my opinion. The command words is basically it's a part of a question that informs the kids how they need to answer it. And at National 5, there are 5 different command words. You've got identify, you've got describe, explain, justify, and evaluate. Now, these can be viewed on a continuum from simple to complex in terms of higher order thinking skills. As you move from identify, which is very, very simple, to evaluate, the higher order thinking complexity increases. All right. And that follows and ties in well with the National 5 course reports, because it's usually around justify and evaluate that pupils struggle with in the portfolio year on year. All right, so I think it's vitally important that you understand, 1, what each command word is asking of you, and 2, you're able to put in place some sort of strategy to help the kids. we need to remember that a lot of our pupils, stereotypically, and this is stereotypically, and again, it's only my opinion, they're not, they're not high flyers in English, a lot of them. For a lot of our kids, higher PE when they get there is the only higher they get, and I've seen that at several schools now. Okay, so this here is a barrier to reason to why they don't achieve success. Now, one of the things I would be saying you should be doing when you go in your probation year is, and also your placements as well, just admitting more people there, on your placements as well, is to actually go and be part of a literacy group. Go and actually explore what these command words are around the school and different subjects. All right, this is a way in which you can develop the literacy of all pupils through PE. Okay, a big key construct of the curriculum for excellence, and this is your way in to doing that. It's a great thing to talk about at interviews when it comes to that, when you want to go from your probation and trying to get a job afterwards. All right, so very briefly, identify is where you just need to name something, and you're usually getting a mark there for every sort of word or phrase. All right, you don't need to write sentences, you don't need to write paragraphs, you just name it. It might be name a data, identify a method, data collection, bleep test. That's a mark. All right, you just name it. Describe is when you're wanting to go a little bit further and you're looking to get a mark for every sentence that you write now. And some of the things you're considering is who, where, when, where, and how. All right, but you never want to give the why. Okay, you want to avoid the why at all costs, because that's you starting to explain and justify. So describe is where you're wanting to paint a picture of how something looks or how something is set up. And then after that, you want to play the video. So as you've got a TV on pause, describe what you see, describe how it's set up. So the bleep test has got 2 cones 20 metres apart on a flat and dry surface. That's how the video looks when it's paused. When you hit play, talk through, describe how it's conducted in chronological order. And as I said, you want to get a sentence a mark. As we move further down, we go to explain. And there are a number of ways to do explain, but for me, it's about showing cause and effect. And now we're looking for a mark every 2 sentences. We're trying to link things together. So I did something because of this, and this was the effect it had. And I'll go into this in more detail, all right? I'm just setting the scene. Justify comes after that. And that's where you're looking at 3 sentences a mark, and there are specific acronyms you can follow that I'll share with you in certain justify questions. You're basically giving a reason for something, and then after it, the effects it then had. All right. And I'll show you and explain the difference, pardon the pun, between explain and justify later on. And then the final one, which causes a lot of confusion year on year, and is a source of people's struggles year on year in the NAT5 portfolio, is evaluate. And evaluate is where you need to give 3 sentences to really get a mark, and you're looking at judgment, evidence, and effect. So that'll all come into play, and you'll understand how they work as we go through this PowerPoint. So firstly, the portfolio is 60 marks, and it contributes 50% of a pupil's overall grade at NAT5. There are 3 sections. Section 1 is sat under closed book conditions. They're not allowed to access any notes whatsoever. Well, sections 2 and 3, there are some form of notes allowed. All right, and we'll talk further on about what these notes might be. So, again, if I'm going too fast, just stop me. I'm going to now start giving you some of the strategies that you can use when teaching the theory side of the portfolio. So section 1 is all about the factors impacting performance. The 4 factors that we have at the heart of the NAT5 and higher course is mental, emotional, social, and physical. And underneath each factor, there are different what we call sub-factors. So for example, for mental, you've got concentration. Emotional, you've got anger. Social, team dynamics, and physical agility. Okay. And what the kids are needing to do is, for each factor, they need to explain the impact it has on performance. All right. And so you've got 8 marks, 4 factors, 2 for each. So a strategy that I'll use with my pupils at NAT5 and higher is to follow a 3-step process. In sentence 1, I want them to tell me a specific situation. So where, when did you need a certain sub-factor? So if we look at this one on the PowerPoint, mental toughness, so we're going for the mental factor. Mental toughness helped me in the last lap of the 1500 metres. Now that's absolutely crucial that they do that, because it's much better than saying mental toughness helped me in the 1500 metres. By telling me it's in the last lap, they're very specific. So when we're learning this, I will always push for this. I'm doing it right now in my Nat 5 class on Microsoft Teams. I will push for them to be very specific, because if you're specific in sentence 1, it allows the rest of your answer to remain specific and get the mark. All right. Often, kids will talk about, I got angry in football. Right, well, when did you get angry? Why did you get angry? I need more. You need to be specific on what the situation actually entailed. In sentence 2, you're then looking at the impact that sub-factor had on me or on the performer. All right. So mental toughness. So see, when you're doing this, a little tip for you is teach them buzzwords. Teach them buzzwords that show what a sub-factor actually is. So I sometimes get them to do a thesaurus task where they'll be saying mental toughness, right? That means that you grit your teeth and you keep going, you push through, you persevere, you don't give up. And they're all buzzwords. I want some of those buzzwords somewhere in sentence 2, because that's them showing the examiner that they understand how that sub-factor impacts them. That's them showing their knowledge. They're transcending knowledge actually and putting it into understanding. Okay? So look at sentence 2 here. This meant I pushed through the pain barrier and I kept going despite feeling tired. Okay, now that is very specific. All right, and it's allowed to be specific because we're thinking, well, we've already said it's the last lap, so we know they're tiring at this point. All right, but again, they show their knowledge because they've got those buzzwords of pushing through and they keep going. All right, so that's them showing they understand how mental toughness impacts them. And in the final sentence, you're looking for impact on performance. You want to finish that off. So the result of the impact of me pushing through that pain barrier and never giving up is that I maintained my pace and I completed the race. All right, it's a logical, it's a specific finish to the answer. Now, another tip for you that, again, it's just something I do. I sometimes give them, it looks like a formula, and I just say, being specific plus having depth equals marks. Okay, so how did I achieve that? So I'll have maybe an arrow coming off, sentence 1. We'll have an arrow coming off to being specific. Sentences 2 and 3 will then give us the depth. All right. And if you've got that specific and the depth, you're going to get marks. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. And again, I would be looking for them to do this in all sub-factors they write about. All right, I want them talking about that all the time. Okay, always follow this formula. All right, now there are different acronyms out there. You've got FACI, for example, which is factor, activity, context, impact, which works. But in my experiences, when I tell some of the C-level kids, if you like to put it in inverted commas, context is a big thing. By telling them specific situation, they actually understand what context means. Okay, it allows them to be direct, allows them to paint that picture. So there's just a couple of examples of how you might teach it as well. I teach this all through practical, okay? The factor stage. Play and pick them out as they occur. Set the boundaries. This week, we're going to do mental factors. Right, let's name some mental sub-factors. So mental toughness, concentration, decision-making, blah, blah, blah. Right, let's look and see where they occur. So it might be that they're playing a team that's sitting off in a basketball game or playing bingo. The use the squeezy whistles every time they see an example of poor concentration. Right, freeze, stop the game. What did you see? Paint the picture. Ah, well, sir, I could see there that player X there, he lost concentration when he was man marking because player Y managed to move away from them. They were too busy ball watching. Right, finish off your answer. All right. And it's quite a good way, and the kids quite like that as well, particularly at the start of the course, because, you know, why the kids love PE? Because it's practical, because it's got that physical element. But let's take the education, the E, into the physical, the P. All right, and let's teach it through the practical and get them on side early doors. All right. An example of an incorrect response. I got angry when the referee made a bad decision in football. Now, feedback-wise, that's actually a really good sentence one. They've told us exactly when that happened, but the feedback I'd be given in homework and things, when they're learning about it, is, well, so what effect did that have on you? So the final tip with this is, always ask them, so what? Okay, some of you might even be too young for this, but it's me showing my age, but the Pink song, So What? I used to play that all the time to an all boys class I had. Claire will be able to fill you in a wee bit on them, but they were brilliant. But they just loved hearing the song So What? And so as soon as they said, I got angry and the ref made a bad decision in football, right, well, so what? What happened next? So what? What's the impact? Then they tell me, right, well, stop, so what? What's the impact? So that's you using guided discovery, if you like, in a theoretical concept. All right. So is that all right for section one? I know if I'm kind of rushing through it, but section one, closed book, okay, no notes, all right, and 8 marks. Okay, so let's move on. Right, so we now go to section two, and that's where they're allowed some form of notes. Okay, now the notes, it's quite vague in terms of what notes are allowed. For me, at one of my previous schools, we actually allowed them no notes at all. We made them do everything closed book. As they say, a question or 2 questions at a time. But at other schools, when I've used notes, one of the things that I've allowed is buzzwords. All right, it might be that there's a mind map, but I want no more than a phrase. I'm very, very harsh with them, all right? Because at the end of the day, we need to prepare these kids for higher, where it's all closed book and an exam that's 2.5 hours at the end of the year. So we need to try and get them retaining some form of knowledge. So notes-wise, for me, in sections 2 and 3, I only allow them a phrase that maybe just sets them off, maybe reminds them of something, but that's literally it, all right? So let's look at 2A. 2A is out of 3 marks, and it's explain the challenges you might face when gathering reliable data and 2 factors. So in sections 2 and 3, the kids have to pick 2 factors that they're going to take through what's called the cycle of analysis. All right, the cycle analysis is where they start by collecting data to find out and research, their levels and 2 factors. Usually you always pick physical because there are a lot to write about there and it's easier to do a programme in. And you combine that with one other based on the class in front of you. Once you've collected your data, you then analyse it, you see what your results are. And then from your results, you then go away and you set goals and you create a training programme. And you complete the training programme as you monitor your progress throughout it. All right, and you're just checking how the programme's going, how every session's going, if you need to make any changes. And then right at the very end of the process, at the cycle, you evaluate how effective that programme was. Did you improve? Have you got evidence for that? And then you're identifying, well, what's my next steps? I need to extend it, or do I now have a new weakness that I need to take back through the cycle? All right. So that there's the cycle of analysis. And the reason I kind of gave a whistle-stop tour of that was because when I've worked with other uni students, some of them didn't know what the cycle of analysis was. So the cycle analysis is that it really is essential what section 2 and 3 is all about. And you go through it in that order. All right. So as I said, to start with, we're collecting data. So what's the challenges to collecting reliable data? Again, literacy skills. What does the word reliable mean? Okay, have them working on that. Okay, it might be that they're making a dictionary, so they've got a thesaurus for section 1 where they're learning all the buzzwords. They've maybe now got a dictionary. What does reliable mean? And again, that's your way of developing literacy skills through PE. It's something you could talk about. So the strategy for here, 2 sentences a mark is what I would teach them. So we're looking for 6 sentences overall. Sentence 1, you're looking to give a cause. Okay, so basically, I'll show you what exactly is the challenge and why is that a challenge, right? So, well, a challenge I may face in using a questionnaire is that the data it collects is qualitative. All right, so that's a reason why, okay, that data from a questionnaire could be unreliable. All right, it's qualitative. Again, what does qualitative mean? It's all about opinion, right? So what? Again, I'm going to go so what. Well, what's the effect of that? If you can use qualitative data where you put your opinion in, how could that lead to your data being unreliable? Okay, so what effect does qualitative data cause? All right, so cause to effect. So sentence 2 is the effect. Well, this means it is about my opinion, and I may lie to impress my coach. So there's the effect. I may lie to impress my coach, so I don't get dropped for the next game. Okay, you've now got a mark. And again, a tip for this, I often go lock and key. You need to have a key that fits into a lock in order to open a mark, open the door to access a mark. So sentence 1 is the lock. You know, well, why? What's the issue here? Okay, why could it be unreliable? What's the issue with a questionnaire? What's the issue with a bleep test? What is the issue with a performance profile meal? And then the key is sentence 2. But what effect does that then cause? Okay, what does that result in happening? So, for example, in the bleep test, the challenge you might face, so the lock or the cause, the challenge you might face is that you might lack motivation to do it with your friends watching you. Okay, but what's the effect of this? Means that when my friends drop out, I'll just drop out as well, even though I've still got energy to keep going. Right, okay, there's a mark. All right, so that cause of lack of motivation causes you, the effect it has is just for you to drop out and not get a reliable score of your CRE levels. Okay. So an example of an incorrect response, again, I'll just show you a challenge for GOS is that my partner might have poor knowledge levels of badminton. Right, well, what's the effect of this? What does that result in happening? So for that, I'd be wanting them to talk about, they might not know what certain shots look like, so they put their tallies in the wrong box. So my data is inaccurate, it's unreliable, it's untrustworthy. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. 2B, simple, easy, just identify. Basically name the 2 methods that you've used. So what are the 2 methods you've used? So what's the physical method? And, what was the emotional method you used? So my lot, for example, just write bleep test for physical, and they would write questionnaire for emotional. Right, there's 2 out of 2. Every kid should get 2 out of 2 here. Okay, so I'm not even going to waste your time going over that. All right. Okay, 2C is describe, and it's out of 4 marks. And it's just basically describing one of the methods that I spoke about. Usually you'll describe the physical one. All right. So the strategy here is, well, paint the picture. I often talk about like Sky Plus. I'll speak about how pretend that you've got something on the screen, hit pause, paint the picture. What does it look like? So if you're doing a questionnaire, how many questions are in it? What's the answer system on the right hand side? Is it true or false? Is it a scale of 0 to 10? Okay, is it sometimes, rarely, often? Like, paint the picture. Tell me exactly how that looks. Give me every detail. It's a PPW for here. Well, it's a circle that's divided into 8 sections with 10 segments in each. So they're painting the picture. Tell me how it looks. That bleep test, 2 cones, 20 metres apart on a flat and dry surface. Okay, paint the picture. Once you've painted the picture, hit play. Okay, take it off pause, hit play, and I'll just go through chronological order. What happens? All right. So for the PPW, well, I wrote down the name of a social factor on the outside of each section. Okay, there's your second mark. In the section, I then shaded in what score I thought it was for that factor out of 10. There's another mark. All right, so as you can see, you're looking at getting a mark for every sentence that you write. It's short, it's sharp, and notice how there is no why. All right, I'm not justifying anything. I'm just getting straight to the point. And this is how your command words work, because each command word has a different strategy that you impose when you teach it. All right, so us knowing the command words, teachers, student teachers, everybody, is going to help the pupils. Okay, it's very, very important in my opinion. Example of an incorrect response: we completed the bleep test on a dry surface because I didn't want to slip and fall behind in the test. So what do you think the issue is with that? Anybody want to chuck some in the chat or answer? Nobody? Claire, I'll ask you. Yeah, because, all right, they're starting to justify why they did something. We don't want that yet. But that's described. Justify, I'm looking for an explain, and justify and evaluate. I don't need that now, all right? Just keep it short and sharp. Again, just a little tip: pretending aliens come from outer space and wants to draw out what your method looks like, and then they want to complete it. By the end of your answer, by the end of the kid's answer, they should be able to draw what the method looks like on the whiteboard. By the way, that's a good learning and teaching strategy. I sometimes get mine to sit down and tell me how something looks or how it's set up, and I'll actually draw it on the whiteboard. All right, and the kids actually, the ones I've worked with, they quite like that. All right, so I'll actually draw a PPW on the board based on what they're telling me. And then by the end of the answer, I should have been an alien, having never seen it before. I should be able to go and complete it without any more assistance. All right, easy enough. Right, I don't know why this happened, because this happened the last time as well. I've missed out 2D, which is a pain in the neck. 2D is 3 marks, and it's explain why you chose that method. All right. So 2D is explain why you selected that method you've just described in 2C. All right, and it's 3 marks. Now in that, you're wanting to use an acronym, and it's called PARV-M. So it's P, A, R, V, and M. And what you do is you work your way through each letter. So P means practical, and practical is just how easy is something to complete. Okay, how easy is it to see your results? It's about how easy is something. The A is the appropriateness. So I often tell my kids that, you know, there's like sports science research back up the fact that it actually collects data on what you're interested in. All right, so think of things with norms. Them norms haven't just been created by Joe Blogs. They've been created by, you know, from research. All right. The R is reliable. So how reliable is something? Does it give me quantitative, factual data? Can I trust it? The V is valid. So can I defend the process that I went through when using this method of data collection? So for example, if I do the PPW for, say, the social factor, and I do it with my teammate sitting next to me, that could be an issue. That could be invalid. I can't defend that because they might be judging me, saying that colouring in that I don't actually get on with my teammates. Whereas if I did it at home on my own with nobody watching or judging me, I could defend that because nobody's judging me. So I'm more likely to be honest when I'm doing it. All right, I'm not embarrassed by it. Okay, you know, validity for the bleep test, for example, is having access to a flat and dry surface and a big enough games hall. You know, where you've got your 20 metres and you can still turn. Okay, and that's me defending the process. And then the M is your go-to one, because this could be used for any method, and that's measurable. Does that method give you a permanent record that you can use in the future to look back on and compare to see any improvements or progress when you maybe do a retest? Now that's your go-to one. Even the bleep test or Illinois agility test, the teacher will write down your score. It'll be written down somewhere, so it's a permanent record. So when you're teaching, I always put a big star next to that one, because regardless of the method data collection the kids choose to speak about, measurable is one they can do. All right, and again, 2 sentences a mark. So for example, top of my head, questionnaire. The questionnaire was practical because it was easy to see my results. It was easy to identify my strengths and weaknesses. So that's the cause. That's why I chose it. Well, what effect does that have? Well, this means it's easy for me to set specific goals for my actual weaknesses. Yeah, because I actually know what my weaknesses are. It's easy to identify. All right, or this means I could go and create an appropriate training program for my weaknesses, or select relevant approaches. A key thing to write down just now, just go off a tangent, is it's a big bugbear of mine, and I'll have a few in that 5 and hat. Methods refer to data collection and monitoring. So you use methods for collecting data, you use methods to monitor. Approaches are what you use to improve. So approaches are training drills. All right. So repetition drill, for example, is not a method. Repetition drill is an approach. And it's very important to distinguish that when teaching the kids later on. Okay. All okay with that? I'll make sure I include that slide. I don't know what I've done. All right. Right. 2E is where they then describe the results. This one's very, very simple, but it can often cause confusion. Firstly, from the 2 methods that you've used, describe what your strengths and weaknesses look like. Right? And it's what it looks like in performance. We don't want you telling us, well, in the bleep test, I got, 4.3 in the poor note. We don't need it. All we need is, how does it look? Just paint the picture. You're literally looking for one sentence almost for a mark. All right. So, for example, a weakness of mine is my anxiety in dance. Before competitions, my muscles begin to tense up and I do not move fluidly. All right. A strength of mine and the social factor is etiquette. When I notice an opponent down injured, I knock the ball out of play for them to get treatment. It's literally just stating how it looks. We don't want, I don't want to know that you got 18 tallies in the very effective column for your spike. Right? I don't need it. I want to know what that spike looks like in the game. Well, it was strong when I got enough power for it to land in the corner of the court. Right, okay, good. All right, so tell me how it looks in performance. And that's a key thing. So a lot of schools and a lot of kids will look at the data itself. They'll actually talk about, the percentages they got and the norm they were in. It's not needed, okay? Just keep it simple for them. They don't need to write a lot in this one for it, okay? Does that make sense? That's pretty straightforward. It is actually kind of similar to section 1, but we don't need the 3 steps here. It's just describe, all right? We don't need them to give me the situation, impact me, impact game. We don't need it. Just tell us how it looks. How does high levels of agility look like in basketball? Right, changing quickly to get past the defender. Right, okay. That's literally it. All right. Chat up. Yeah, so it's 1 mark for every strength or development need. Okay. Now you can get a 2 and 2 split, so 2 strengths and 2 development needs. Okay, that's the way I teach it. All right, so give me your strength for the mental factor and your weakness for the mental factor, and give me a strength and weakness for the physical factor. All right, but yeah, it's one set. It's a mark for each strength and each development need. Okay. Right, I'll move on. We've got 5 minutes left of this session, and we're almost at the end of section 2, which is good. So it'll give us time in the next session to really get through some of the troubled areas of section 3 and get some questions. 2F is where you, from the data, you basically, what's your 2 weaknesses, set a target for each. And just state them. Just state your target. All right? We're not wanting, we don't need paragraphs here. We don't need big sentences. Quite simply, by the end of my PDP, I want to improve my agility. Right, that's a mark. By the end of my PDP, I want to be better at controlling my anxiety. Okay, that's another mark. All right. Again, just going off on a tangent, you've got to do it section 1. See, in section 1, when you're teaching the sub factors, there's some rules from the SQA around what sub-factors come under which factor column. Anxiety can come under mental or emotional, come under either or. Resilience and confidence is emotional. Don't ask me why, all right, because, you know, sports psychology and that I've done at uni would suggest otherwise. And communication could come under physical or social. And the reason it could come under physical is physical split into 3 different areas. You've got physical skill, physical fitness, and physical tactics. All right. So that was just me going back there because I forgot to say that at section 1. All right. 2F easy enough. Quite simple. Yeah. Right. 2G is just explain why we should set goals. Now, a key thing here is it's not SMART. All right. We're not interested in the SMART acronym. That's what you consider when setting goals. It's not the question. The question is, why should you set goals? All right. And again, 3 marks. So I'm looking for 3 sets of cause and effect. All right. So I'm looking for at least 6 sentences. So, for example, one of the locks, I set goals because it boosted my motivation to train. Right. So what's the effect of that? What's the key? Well, being motivated, so what? Well, that means that with me being motivated, I'll give my all in every session to reach my goals and I'll improve. Okay. I set goals because it gives my PDP a specific focus. Right, okay, well, what's the effect of that? Well, with having a specific focus, that means that I'll select the appropriate approaches to help me reach my goals. Okay, so if my weakness, if my goals around CRE, I'm not going to do visualization. But knowing that CRE, I've got that specific focus, so I will go and do interval training. That's the effect to knowing what my goal is. That's a reason why, and then the effect of us setting goals. Okay? And again, just the incorrect response there, just a lot of kids will give you the first sentence, but don't give you the second one. You always need to give that so what to tell us the effect. Okay? Right. We've got under a minute left and we're actually in a decent place here. What I'll do is I'll save this session and then you'll have the login details and we'll start the next one at 10:45 and we'll go on to 2H. All right? So I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Okay? Cool, guys. No problem.